And welcome back to the Crypto Show's Digital Cash Evolution right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I want to thank our sponsors, Dash.org, the local Phoenix cryptocurrency company. Definitely check those guys out. Instant transactions and private transactions. You definitely want to go check that out and see some of the stuff that they're doing. And some of the stuff that we were able to do with them. They've sponsored our show for almost 2 years now. And it's not they don't just sponsor the commercials. They actually did some really cool stuff. They allowed me to, like I said, go into the face of the storm in the hurricane and help out people. I was able to help 3,100 people out, giving them, care packages and stuff like that on the ground in 12 cities. And then we went back. I was with Max Kaiser and Stephen Baldwin, and we actually went back and helped 2 families.
Right.
We gave them like $6,000 each towards their house.
Right. You guys can see that episode.
Yeah, man, it was
the Great American Pilgrimage on the RT Network.
It was really very interesting. One of the things that I got to see was I went to Vidor, Texas, and that was one of the worst hit places. And Vidor was actually famous for being very racist. And when, this is in the past, it's not really like that anymore. But when we were there, my wife is Chilean, and we were handing out these care packages. There were instances where you could see that they had to humble themselves. There was a couple of people you could tell that they were angry that hey, what are you doing there? They were racist, and it was obvious, but they were biting their tongues, and it was just interesting to see everybody coming together there, especially in that town. There was a lot of different races in that town, and historically, that town has been terrible.
Yeah, that's the thing about charity. It's hard to say no. It's hard to say no to when people are trying to do the right thing, or when people are trying to do a good thing, or when people are trying to contribute financially or meaningfully with value to a community that's been damaged.
Yeah. And just being able to tell them that, we did not accept the dollar. And that was the rule. We actually had a person that came up to us when we were in Rockport, Texas, and he tried to donate money to us, and we refused to take the dollar. Told him that we would only take cryptocurrencies. And it just so happened that the guy had an Airbitz wallet, and somebody had given him like $10 a couple of years before, and it had turned into $100 and something dollars that he had on there.
Nice.
So the guy gave me like $5. I mean, it just as a token for thanking me for giving him the care package. It was really, really cool.
That's great.
But just to be able to tell people, no, we don't want your stinking dollars.
Yeah.
We're doing this solely with cryptocurrency, and we did a great job, man. And that goes on all over the world. It's amazing how many things are being done with cryptocurrencies. It's not just the Silk Road where they're buying drugs or whatever, because it's really a bad move to try to do that.
Yeah,
you're setting yourself up for failure if you're using cryptocurrency to buy drugs online.
Right. I spoke at the Global Blockchain Summit here in the Denver area not too long ago, and there was an organization that took the stage that I was really impressed with called Social Plastic, and their goal is to remove plastic from the oceans. It's a very simple thing, and what they do is they allow people in impoverished nations to collect the plastic and bring it to these centers, and then they give these social plastic tokens in exchange for these sorted different colors of plastic, and they create the market between the plastic and recycling buyers. So it's a really kind of closed-knit system where they're able to give value to these people who are collecting, not necessarily having to pay employees or manage infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. But these families, they're able to send their kids to school now using these new tokens.
Yeah. I was at the Libertarian Convention, and this was a topic that I brought up, and I spoke with, I think, 4 different blockchain speakers that they had there. And the topic I brought up was like the morality of money and the ability to pick which money you wanted to use, much like you would go to Walmart and say you don't like that Walmart sells, itty-bitty bikinis to children, so you don't want to shop at Walmart.
Right.
Well, what about the dollar? If you don't like that the dollar is being spent on war or whatever, or the drug war or anything like that, you can't just stop using the dollar. But with cryptocurrencies, you can pick which currency that you like that does whatever, good that whatever makes you feel good. If they're doing that and that's your currency of choice.
It's the truest kind of free market that I've ever experienced in my life, really. And, I think back very often to when I read the Bitcoin white paper, I realized that this was the first time that we as humans had an exit strategy from the known issues of government and banking finance that has plagued us for as long as those institutions have existed.
That's exactly how I got into cryptocurrency. I was a Ron Paul supporter. I was a Republican delegate for Ron Paul, and so I went to all the rallies and held the little signs up that said "End the Fed, end the Fed." Mm-hmm. Well, when I discovered Bitcoin, it's like I don't need to end anything. I can just opt out.
Now, I want to be clear here because I want to give a fair shot, because there's a lot of people that like government or certain kinds of government or certain things that governments do. And, where I stand is I'm fine with people organizing. I'm fine with people getting together and making decisions. But I don't like not having an option to opt out when some of my value is being used for war or murder or things that I have no control over. And, there's a long debate
locking
here.
People in cages for smoking plants.
Right. And those who, we can generally call them statists, people who support the strength and power of a state. They say, well, you can vote. This is a democracy. You can change that. But the fact of the matter is, if you look into, for instance, the book Skin in the Game by Nicholas Nassim Taleb, he talks about how politicians don't have to pay the price for their issues, for their mistakes. And it's called transference of risk, right? And in cryptocurrency, you have skin in the game. It's your money. It's your private key. You have to protect it from day one. And every move you make is public on the blockchain. And we need that to get into government. We need that mentality to get into government if we're really going to improve the state of government.
On that note, Doug, give us the breakdown on public and private keys and how someone needs to secure that.
Okay, so you hear these terms, public key and private key. So your public key, think of it like your email address and a password. So in order to send an email or to receive an email, you've got to give away your email address. And so that's public and freely. In fact, you need to give it to them in order for them to send you an email. But they couldn't send from your email account without your email password. So that's what your public key, private key is. Public key is what you would give to someone, say, if you're sending me value, sending me Bitcoin, whatever. Your private key is what we talked about before. You secure it, put it in a safe location, and that's what you would secure and keep to yourself. And it allows you to recover your funds, your Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency, in the event that you lose your phone or your phone crashes or things like that.
And real quick, give us the address and everything for the event tonight so people can come out and meet you to get their wallet set up and get their cryptocurrencies.
It's at Cave Creek and Cactus Road, northeast corner strip mall there, northeast of Cave Creek and Cactus Road at 7. Well, I'll be there by 6 p.m. So come on.
I think that's great. I think that those kind of community events are really the best opportunities to learn about the crypto, get a feel for it, go through your initiation of setting up a wallet, making your first transaction. That's all you need. Once you do that, you're in. You're a coiner now. And as I say, no coiner becomes a no coiner. For those who don't know, no coiners are people who are not into cryptocurrency, as probably most of our audience is.
Maybe some of those guys who bought at the peak last time.
Yeah.
That were brand new.
It's painful. That's a painful place.
Well, if you're not able
to sell, it's not
true.
If you're not able to make it out to Classic Crust tonight, go ahead and go to phoenixcrypto.com/ATMs and find one of our ATM locations. You can buy there, and we are also looking for business owners that are looking to host a Bitcoin ATM in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, and I would love for everybody to go ahead and check out thecryptoshow.com. Follow our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, Pinterest. I think we got about 10 others. I don't even know what all we got.
The reach of social media. Yeah, phoenixcrypto.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at PHXCrypto.
And don't forget to get out there to the gun stores and get them to start carrying the Ghost Gunner
Want
so you
that
can
Ghost
win
I
one
want that
free
Ghost
for
Gunner.
yourself.
Yeah.
Love that Ghost Gunner.